1% of the people in the general population have the overwhelming amount of money.
Jordan Peterson provides an example using the game of Monopoly. In Monopoly, you've probably noticed that no matter how many times you play, it often ends with one person having all the money. This isn't just a coincidence, it's something that tends to happen when people trade and make deals. And here's the big challenge. Because of this pattern, wealth and resources often end up in the hands of a very small group of people, while a large part of the population ends up with very little. This can be a problem. However, Jordan is also saying that it's not easy to change this pattern. When you try to spread resources more evenly, they often end up going back to the same few people who had them before. So it's a complex problem, and he's pointing out that it happens not just with money, but in many different areas where people are creating things or making deals. But why does Jordan Peterson say this? He's just saying this because it's the #1 thing that stops many people from getting ahead financially and staying stuck in a money rut. Complaining about how only a few folks have all the cash just makes things worse, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So, if you want money to come your way, drop the whining and start making moves to improve your financial situation. Knowing and accepting this will change many things, because this idea has already caused a lot of suffering for people. Jordan Peterson shares a story to emphasize how this misguided belief caused immense suffering. Let's go back to the 1920s, a turbulent period for Russia following World War I. In the villages, you'd find many men who had been deeply scarred by the war and were grappling with post-traumatic stress disorder. Additionally, numerous individuals were struggling to make ends meet. They said these farmers were nothing short of malevolent beings, essentially pigs and demons who were plundering from the rest of the community. They managed to persuade people to band together, form a mob, and seize everything that these successful farmers owned. Regrettably, that's precisely what transpired. The prosperous farmers were either killed, raped, or forcibly exiled to Siberia, where they had to endure a harsh winter with no place to live and nothing to eat. This narrative serves as a stark reminder of how misguided notions can lead to unimaginable suffering. As a grim consequence of these events, a few years later, 6 million people in Ukraine perished due to famine. The Soviets of that era had perfected the concept of assigning guilt based on social class and ethnicity. However, this approach is a treacherous path to tread. It's a theme that continues to resonate today, with ongoing discussions surrounding the idea of holding entire groups accountable based on their race or ethnicity. Jordan Peterson cautions against venturing down such a perilous road. Jordan Peterson makes a point about a common idea in our culture, that poverty is simply the result of not having enough money. However, he argues that this is a simplistic notion and that money itself can be challenging to handle. He gives an example of clients he's worked with, particularly those who struggled with addiction. For them, having access to money was the worst thing that could happen because they often spent it on destructive habits. They would hang out with people who encouraged these behaviors, and as soon as they received money, they would head to the bar, spending every cent they had on alcohol. One person he recalls often ended up in a ditch, almost dead, after a drinking spree. It was a vicious cycle of receiving money, self-destructing, feeling remorse, and then repeating the same pattern. Jordan's point here is that money isn't necessarily beneficial for everyone, and it can easily vanish if not managed properly. For some people, giving them money is like pouring water into their hands. It slips away without making a significant impact. He also touches on the contributors to poverty, such as low IQ. While the idea of IQ might seem arbitrary and unrelated to financial success, he explains that it's quite stable and not easily changed. People may not deserve to have a high or low IQ, but it plays a significant role in their capabilities and opportunities. Jordan Peterson wants us to think about how people have different abilities and how these abilities affect their financial well-being. He tells a story about one of his clients who had a lower IQ and how hard it was for that person to improve it. This isn't just about getting better at something. It's about trying to change a fundamental part of who you are. What Peterson is getting at is that poverty is not just about not having money. It's a lot more complicated. It's about all the different things in a person's life, like their abilities and the opportunities they get. to really understand and address poverty in a caring way. We need to see these complexities. We must recognize that not everyone has the same abilities, and these differences can have a big impact on their financial situation. By understanding and accepting these differences, we can work together to make society fairer and more compassionate for everyone. This means looking beyond the surface and getting to the heart of what causes financial struggles for different people. In conclusion, we hope you found Jordan Peterson's insights valuable in understanding the complex dynamics of wealth and poverty. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to our channel for more thought-provoking content, and don't forget to check out our next video, How to Be Miserable and Broke. Thank you for watching.